Hey there, hi there, ho there, Andrew here, and we are officially on number 11. 11? I have run out of fingers for the thumbnail pictures. Fingers for the thumbnail pictures. Anyways, I'm happy to continue this series of questions that people have asked me in person and online about what it's like being a scare actor and my experience working at Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando. Now, if you haven't seen any of the previous Q&As, go ahead, click the link above. That's the playlist, so you get a chance to see all of them there. It's a lot of videos. As I've said, we're now on 11. And if you have a question and you haven't seen it answered in any of the previous Q&As, go ahead, leave a comment down below. I will go ahead and add it to a future video. But before we go any further, a big old shout out goes to Kristen Gooch. I don't know if she actually emphasizes her last name the way that I just did, but if you look at that video, man, some people have to get their fix in any way possible. Though I will say she had reassured me that she was in park during this photo, so don't call the popo on her. Now, let's get into some questions. The first question comes from Seth Dennett, who asks, what happens if someone hits you as a natural reaction? Well, I can tell you that I have been swatted at a few times myself, and really the answer is up to each individual scare actor. I know that the majority of the ones that I've talked to, and myself included, take it as a badge of honor if somebody goes ahead and swings at you. And I say that because if you can scare somebody so bad that they get to the fight or flight mechanism inside their brain, that means you have scared somebody to the very core of their instinct. And that is awesome. Second question goes to Crazy Pandas, who asks, can you tell us who played Chance? Your videos are so funny. Well, first off, I want to say flattery will get you everywhere. But the real tricky question to this, or the tricky answer to the question, I should say, is that Chance was played by a couple of actresses. And I don't know if you want to know all of them or not. I'm going to give you two of them, though. And the first one is an actress by the name of Erin Nicole Klein. She has her own IMDb page. You can go ahead and check it out and see what she looks like without the makeup. She is the original Chance when Chance was created way back in the day. And she is also the Chance that was in the HHN 25 commercials and in the HHN 26 commercials. She is the one that plays Chance, we would say the media Chance. So she is the one that actually goes out and does all the media events in there. There is another woman, a great actress by the name of, I'm not going to say her last name because I don't know if she would want that or not, but her name is Megan. She is, like I said, a great actress. She has done many roles for Universal, and she might actually change her last name, thinking about it now anyways, because she got married not that long ago. But Megan did all of the Chance's roles in the Scare Zone for HHN 26. So if you're asking the question for that, you have two of them there. I will say this, both actresses, they have worked for Universal for a long time, and they have had numerous roles throughout, such as Megan has been in the Bard's Tale for Harry Potter, and she was Skipper in Jaws, and she was a raptor expert at Jurassic Park, so she's had a whole bunch of roles. And why I'm saying this is, if you want to be an HHN icon, you have to be an actor or actress. I mean, that's a big role and you have to have the skill to improv between people and everything. That isn't somebody that just walks up and says, "Oh, they look like so and so." You have to have some skills, and these two ladies definitely have the skills. You don't get this role just by chance. The next question comes from Mr. Stripes, who says, do you do any preparation before a shift? Like any warm-ups or anything, since it is a demanding job? Stretching is what I would say. Well, stretching and hydration. You would probably like this to the scenario of athletes before a game. You want to, a lot of characters want to hydrate themselves up because you're going to sweat your butt off when you get out there, even just the first set. You're going to stretch because You got to limber yourself up. But there's also scare actors that go ahead and put on some headsets, listen to some music, get pumped up. And then the other ones just talk to other scare actors and are a little bit social. The next question comes from Jason Kruger Music, who says, have you ever accidentally gotten scared by a fellow scare actor? The answer to that is no, and not for the lack of trying. I have had techs that have tried to scare me. I have had management that have tried to scare me. I've had fellow scare actors try and scare me. And no, I've never been scared. I, however, on the other hand, have scared people, and not because I've tried. It's just shown up on set and somebody didn't know that I was right behind them or beside them. I've scared my tag outs before. Just doing my job. They didn't see me coming. I'm a big guy, but I'm pretty quiet. So, yeah, I guess you could say I'm a frightening individual. But a funny story to share with you guys on this, since you might have been looking for a good story, and no one scared me, so there's no story there. But I was up on stage as Herman Blitzkrieg in HHN 25, the house run Blood, Sweat, and Fears. And I was looking across the room. There wasn't anybody in the room at the time. We were at the end of the night almost, and nothing was happening. But I was looking across the room to the spot where Heinrich Blitzkrieg comes out of his boo hole, and that was played by my awesome Bruta, Brandon Jackson. And Brandon was not there. He was not popping out or anything because nobody was there. And usually during that type of lull, as I've said before, Brandon would go back, and there was a water cooler that was near his spot. He would go ahead and get a drink. He had a water bottle that was clipped to his belt underneath his apron. No one could see it. So he would sometimes fill that up. So I was figuring that he was there, and he just wasn't popping out because nobody was there. But then suddenly, a huge revving chainsaw noise came out of nowhere, and there are no chainsaws in our room. So I was kind of wondering where that was coming from. And lo and behold, I see Brandon yelling coming out of that boo hole. And what had actually happened was one of the houndlums, which was the last area in the house, came out and went back a house, went behind in the boo hole where Brandon was, and quick started their chainsaw when Brandon didn't realize anybody was behind him. So I guess if you're just standing in your boo hole and everything is fine, and suddenly you have a chainsaw revving right behind you, kind of startles you a bit. And he come blaring out of that boo hole, screaming, and hit the control panel that was to the side, and took a little bit of the wall with him, cut up his side, bruised it up really, wasn't cut up, but he did tear his apron, because he hit that sucker hard. And I gotta be honest, I was laughing. The next question comes from Melissa Lukic. I just screw up last names left and right. The last name is spelled Lukac, if you're playing at home. You tell me how you say that. Anyways, Melissa says, hello, Andrew. So, being a scare actor looks like a lot of fun. Is it easy when it comes to scaring others, or are there skills to mastering a good scare? Thanks. 1, yes, it is a lot of fun being a scare actor. Probably it is the most fun you're going to ever have at a job legally. And I suggest everybody tries to go out for it because it is very enjoyable. Now, second, there are some skills when it comes to doing a good scare. Jump scares are very easy, and they're a dime a dozen, and you're going to see probably 80% of the scares that happen at Halloween Horror Nights are jump scares, because it is a great way to startle a guest. And that's exactly what it is. It is a startle. It's not really a scare. I don't think jump scares are scares per se. They're jump startles. It catches somebody off guard. If you really want to scare somebody, I mean really scare them down to the core, like I have in the past when it comes to people falling over each other, passing out, hyperventilating, losing bladder control, losing bowel controls. Yes, it takes a certain skill set to master in scaring somebody, and maybe I'll do a separate video on that. Ace Adventure Brendan Ace asks, do scare actors usually go out and hit the parks or eat at City Walk before the event? Also, where do you guys enter in the resort? I figured it was back behind E.T., but I'm not sure. So let me answer the last part first, and that is, no, we don't enter in through E.T. It's a good guess. You might have seen people going in and out at E.T., especially if you were part of the Stay and Scream. If you were at the Stain Scream, you could have probably seen me walking through the Simpsons area to get to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre area. But long and short, all the scare actors come through in the same area, and that is through the same area that the guests come through. So there are no hidden areas. Universal Studios has different areas for employees to enter, all depending on their job and where they're located. But when it comes to scare actors, there aren't any hidden spots where they come in. That would be a lot of payroll for security to go around in different spots to have people being checked and everything. So they come through the regular spot. Now, when it comes to do the scare actors go ahead and eat together before an event? Yeah, some of them do. I know I can say that the very first Halloween Horror Nights that I did, the 25th one, there were two scare actors, April and Daryl, two very awesome individuals. I like them a lot. They weren't on my cast that year, but they welcomed me to go ride the Mummy with them before we had to start. And it just shows how cool they were because they didn't know who I was, and they welcomed me on. Now, the following year, I can say that before starting work, me and a lot of the other Leatherfaces and hitchhikers, cooks, whatnot, we all went to the horror makeup show and watched that before we started because, man, that show is good. The Party Boy 376 asks, do they allow actors to wear earplugs? Because it can be loud in the house sometimes. Also, how do you manage the strobe lights when in the house? Do you just get used to it after a while? Thanks. So, like the last question, we're going last question first, and that question was answered in the previous Q&A. Now, no fault on the Party Boy there. No fault on the Party Boy. I think that is a cool name, though. Basically, he asked that question before I posted the previous Q&A, so he wouldn't know that. I will say, the other question, there was an individual by the name of Sebastian Perez, which left a comment, and I really think that that's cool when people are talking to each other on the comment sections. I really do think that is cool. Sebastian said that he saw scare actors have earplugs in, and that is true. Many scare actors do have earplugs in their ear because of safety reasons. Now, I'll give you a little bit of health information so you kind of know where I'm coming from on here. The decibel level exposed to somebody that, for a prolonged period, that is, where hearing loss can happen is about 85 decibels. Now, anything less, 75 and less, it should be fine. But when you're hitting around that level for a prolonged period, you could suffer from some hearing loss. Now, a chainsaw, such as any of the Roaming Hordes chainsaws or Leatherface chainsaws, the gas-powered, real chainsaw, just doesn't have the chain on it. Maxing out, decibel-wise, full rev, is about 120 decibels. So much higher than the threshold for a human ear. And when it's in a short blast, it's okay. Just fine. Revving it and doing a set for 45 minutes and in continuation for 4 hours throughout the day, you can go deaf. So that is a mandatory earplug roll. You need to have it. There is no way getting around it. Universal does an excellent job when it comes to making sure that your hearing is protected. And that's not just for scare actors. That's for people that are in the tech industry as well. People that are doing the pyrotechnics and the sound effects, all that other stuff. They need to have those in there as well because that stuff is loud. So, again, mandatory when it comes to houses like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and also mandatory when it comes to you having any speakers or sound effects, any sound triggers that are right next to your ears. Every year, scare actors they are tested for their hearing before they even go out. When you're in the audition process, or when you, not audition process, but when you've been hired, right after the audition process, before rehearsals and everything, you have to get your hearing checked out. Because Universal wants to make sure that everybody's safe, which is a great thing. So, as always, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Tap the bell icon as soon as you subscribe so you get notified the moment that I upload. And I will see you in the next video.